Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
Well, hello there, all you cool cats and kittens. Hi. Oh my God. So I was going to actually put this thing on before I did it, and then I got totally thrown for a loop. Okay. What?
I don't know. You just you started out the intro just great, and then you just went to
Is
hell.
that supposed? I'm sorry, I jacked her up. That's my fault.
It is your fault.
Totally.
What am I doing? Put it on? Put my hair back? Put it on? Okay, thanks, Beta. I'll put it back on. All right, so this is my costume. This is as close as I'm getting to my costume.
Show, take two.
What exactly?
I just told you. Good
Where's my
morning,
wig?
you're cool. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Got it.
Did that not give
No, what's
away?
your costume?
Did you not? I just said it. What do you think it is? It's that chick from Tiger King. Oh, come on. Oh, Shelly wouldn't know. She still hasn't watched it.
Cheryl Baskin.
Damn it!
Goodness gracious.
Take a
But it's
picture.
okay.
You're
I
starting
brought
to look
you.
like her.
I know. I brought you all something really exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope I have a mullet.
So, and I couldn't find one for you, to be honest with
Thank
you.
God.
Like, do you have the whole? You have the whole ensemble here. Oh, yes.
To match your Wonder Woman.
So Shelly,
Dun, dun, dun,
So,
dun.
Brandon, I just couldn't
curious
figure
first.
out which one to
Who wore
get
this?
you to wear it now. Have you ever put on a wig?
Yeah, I'm wearing one right
I
now.
can't put them on to save my life. They're well. Wait till you see Brandon's.
what the F is
Beta, don't feel sad. I brought you one too.
Wait, I feel like there's.
You got to put it on. This is our costumes
Don't
today
worry, Brandon.
because it's Nevada Day, you guys.
Has this been sanitized?
Yes, it's been sanitized. I will sanitize
Has
it.
this made the COVID protocol?
Yeah, so you put the hairnet on for. Have you never put on a wig? I can never do them, to be honest with you.
Well,
I
I
always screw them up every
so while we
single
do
time.
this, why don't you introduce everybody?
And what exactly is this?
That's the. So you put that on first,
That's a face mask.
and then that's what the wig holds on to.
Well, then what's this?
Oh, you put that on after. I don't know. Just try it. Maybe
You
that's
real-
why
okay,
I
I'm
can.
just
I
gonna
can
let
never
you
get
know
them
that
on.
there's an argument.
Give me all your money.
Good morning,
But give it to me
everyone.
first.
I'm Vandana Bala.
That's what I thought.
I'm Vandana Bala, corporate broker here at Signature Real Estate Group, and
is not
my
attractive.
co-host, Mr. Brandon Roberts, also the corporate broker and owner of Signature Real Estate Group, and then Shelly Panzarella over there
What's
in the
up?
corner. Oh, Beta, yeah.
Yes.
Shelly Panzarella, branch manager of Prosperity Lending. We are Real Estate Exposed, and we expose all things real estate here in Las Vegas as well as nationally, because as if you have been watching our show, you'll know we talk about everything that's related to real estate, and then we act like complete goofs every so often, and we don't give a shit. So life is good.
So you don't
How
have
are
a
you
wig,
doing?
you have a headband.
I have a headband because I can never get wigs on. They just
Yeah.
don't work for me.
They don't work for me.
But I have like 10 of them at home. And I tried to find you a mullet because I thought that would be fun, but it didn't happen. See?
Really?
How's that? Am I okay?
Sure,
Do I look
this
okay?
is-
That looks great on you. That's in your shirt.
I know. That
Yeah,
looks
so
really
I brought
good.
my own outfit
So,
because I'm Wonder Woman
you're-
today.
Heck yeah.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the other podcast platform, you might want to go to YouTube or Facebook and look us up because
Mike, you should.
it is
All day.
quite the entertaining event going on right now with all of our wigs and costumes and
Leave it to Vandana to get us all.
Well, it was funny because you
Primp-
asked, what are you going to dress up as for the show? And I was
I
like,
know.
I'm going to put on a pumpkin shirt. But I did that last year. Did you see my
Did we
picture
have
from
this show last year? We didn't have this
No,
show.
we didn't have a show last year. But I wore a pumpkin shirt last year. And unbeknownst to me, I showed up to a party with my friends. Remember when we used to have those? So
Friends
I-
or parties?
both. And then so I showed up to a party with my friends.
this is way better. You
And-
got bangs.
You have bangs too.
I just
You
don't know
just
how to-
flipped them in.
Hold on. I
Beta
just,
has bangs too.
Beta. yes.
As you
Beta.
can tell, me and Beta don't wear wigs much, but hey, it's kind of a weird day here in Nevada today because
It
tomorrow's
is.
Halloween, but today is Nevada Day.
Which is also like Halloween.
Which
What
is,
exactly is Nevada Day?
It's
Can
like
we explain
Nevada's
that?
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Where did we become independent from? Because we still have to. We're
No,
still the United States.
It's when we became
A state.
So I guess we lost our independence.
On Nevada Day. Fantastic.
So I'm from Utah, and Utah's Independence Day is July 24th.
That's called Pioneer Day, right?
Yeah, it's a much bigger deal up there. Lots more going on. But
Are you looking on Facebook right now while you're doing
No,
this?
I'm
so that
looking
you
at
can
my
see?
I'm looking at my screen right here because you can't really see my
I think you look amazing.
because my hair, it's not, I have a little bit of a big head. Let's just not say this. Sydney had
It's already done.
95%. She was always like, anytime we take her to the doctor would be like, yeah, your daughter has a big head. She's like 95%. The size of her head is 95% of the kids in whoever's being,
Percentile, yeah.
whatever, 95 percentile. And I'm
Of
like,
children her age.
yes.
Yeah.
So
There's
like,
actually clips. It'll make it stay. But
I'm
it's
an
too late
ugly
now.
woman.
You guys look
Anyway,
amazing.
so this show is sponsored by Signature Real Estate School.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're looking to get into real estate, you can go to signatureschoolnv.com and look into signing up. We do currently have scholarships, and so just for the cost of the books, you could be getting your real estate license.
Dude,
or starting to get your real estate license.
So can we talk about that? Like, what does that process really look like for somebody who wants to jump in? They go through school, and then like, how fast can you really just get on board to becoming
Like
a?
2 months.
2
no,
months.
maybe even.
No,
I remember
think
there was a
it's-
time where
it's
I
basically
did 30 days.
basically 2 weeks. You have to have time to read the books and stuff. Once you pass the state exam, right?
Let's be real. Nobody reads them.
Well,
Well, you have to
you're
take a test,
supposed to-
right?
You do.
Right, you take a school test after you read them, but we have videos and everything else. So
But you
learn
can take
kno-
the test over and over again until you pass it.
Right, and then once you pass the school test, then you have to take a state exam.
Correct.
Who offers that
PSI.
now? Is it still PSI?
You have to pass that.
I thought it was somebody different now.
You have to do fingerprints. You have to do background checks. You have to do a bunch of other nonsense, and then yeah.
So that's probably 30 days, right? Same thing for us,
Then you,
fingerprints.
then you have an application.
This is funny.
Then you have an application.
You might want to take that.
That your broker,
We're trying to be serious, Brandon. Sorry.
that your broker, your broker that you're going to go work for signs up to be.
Your hair is
And then you submit that, and yeah, it's awesome. Leave me alone. It's still better looking than the wig.
And then your broker signs in, all of a sudden you're set up to be.
Then you have to wait, and there's a long wait right now for the state to approve you and send out your license. But once your license hits the office, you're able to sell. So,
How many agents are there right now? Do you know?
in Nevada.
so there's a difference between agents and realtors. You don't have to join the board of realtors to become to sell real estate, but there's just over 14,000, I think, realtors just in Southern Nevada.
Okay.
14,000. Is that
Yeah.
a high or low number?
It's
compared-
high. It's high, and that's that are members of the Las Vegas Realtors, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's
getting
18
there. I'll
or
tell you in a
so
minute.
thousand, or getting
there's
closer
gotta
to
be way more than that,
20,000
yeah.
in the state.
Got it.
That's just realtors.
Wow.
So licensees, I gotta get past all the other stuff. It looks like, so there's currently 3,200 property managers, 3,208 property managers, if that matters to anybody.
Well, they're permitted. They're not necessarily property managers, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have their permit that don't do anything, but
Just like people
here in
are-
Nevada, you have to have a separate permit to do property management. You also need a separate permit to sell business brokerage.
So in the state of Nevada, we have 25,246 licensees.
Okay, so those are not the ones who've actually gone in to become a realtor, correct?
Not,
Paying
no.
dues.
That's inclusive of everyone.
Okay.
Right? And then you've got in Clark County, 18,862.
Real estate
So
agents.
real estate licensees.
Correct.
Right? And it looks like, so it's 25 total. I mean, that's all that really matters, to be honest with you. Inactive, there's a ton of them. If you look at all the inactive, there's an additional 3,296. That means that they're,
They didn't pay dues or
Yeah.
they didn't pay their.
So, yeah, so it's an interesting thing. When you go through the school, it's just going to teach you the laws and stuff you need to pass the exam. It's not going to really teach you how to sell real estate. So that falls in line of selecting the proper brokerage to go work for or work with in those programs. And when you're out interviewing, there's brokers who promise you the world, but you have to be kind of specific on what you kind of need and go out there and look at it. And I'd recommend you talk to the existing agents that
Insane.
are at the brokerage to see if it's truly what they say it is,
Yeah.
experience level. Not all brokers should take on brand new agents because they don't have training programs and systems set up to bring them in. We do. We have an apprentice program actually that we put them
Yeah,
through.
that's good.
We have mentorship programs. We have personal coaching. We have group pod calls. We have a lot of stuff designed to help people get up in the business. Because unfortunately, there's a very high rate of agents that get their license and are out in the first year or two. So we want to do something different and try to curb that so that when people actually get into real estate, they have a chance at succeeding. So anyway, Signature Real Estate School.
Nice. That was a really long sponsor moment.
Sponsorship. Did we make that a commercial yet?
There are only one, so they got to take all the time.
Well, and so here's the thing.
will they pay for our-
I spent the last week auditing our post-licensing, and then also I know the instructor for pre-licensing. And quite honestly, we have an incredible program overall. So if you're looking for getting information from people who actually know what the heck they're talking about, we've got a good set of instructors.
We do the post-licensing, which is the 90, how many, 30 hours?
It's, I don't know. I
I
asked
think it's
Janet
like
for that stuff.
30 hours or so your first
Well,
year you're required to
it's-
take.
Yeah,
It has to be like 6 hours a day, right? So 30, 5 days.
sure. Let's not talk about that anymore.
Yeah, anyway.
So,
It's the best part of
We
my.
also offer CE classes, so
yeah,
very cool.
every
Yeah.
month. Okay, that's enough of that. So, what were we going to talk about? Okay,
Stats.
Stats. No, do you really want to talk about stats?
We
Does
always
everybody
start
really
our-
get excited about stats. All right. So in the last week, we had 1,181 homes that sold. That's up by 200 homes from last week-ish, 200 plus from last week, to be honest with you. So that's a good thing. And then of those, are you guys? What's going on? Where?
Nothing, just keep going.
All right. So and then
You're
what
in
are
the
we looking
groove.
at price point wise? Does anybody want to take a guess?
3.2.
Close.
For the highest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.4.
Go higher.
$1.
$1.
Say that. But
Four-
not going over.
4,250,000.
That was my
4
next guess.
million.
My next guess.
Days on the market?
Days on market, 35.
Wow.
What?
I know.
Where was that?
What is
McDonald
this?
Highland.
McDonald Ranch.
What?
McDonald Ranch. Yeah, it seems like that's the last 3 weeks. That's where the highest price homes have been selling. Go get out there and
35
start.
days. That's fast for a $4 million.
I know. I'm looking
sure
at the-
about that?
Yeah. What do you mean am I sure about that? I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm sure about that. Just stop it right now, Shelly Panzarella. Okay, so days from the listing to close is 83 days, but days on market was 35.
Also took them a
That's
minute to
difference,
50
right?
days to close that loan. Yeah, I could see that. $4 million is a lot for financing. It's a lot of paperwork.
Beta's still got his hairnet.
It's behind you in the back.
Scott, here. This
It's
side.
in the back, in the big backy back.
It's connected to your headphones. Sorry.
Don't worry, Beta. I got you on Instagram. Don't worry.
Well.
You always catch us.
I had to take off my hat. I couldn't see things as it is. It's bad enough. I can't see anything, and then now I've got that thing on.
Wait, so are we done with this, or
No, we're not.
No, we're done
This
with
is
it.
going home.
You, however, are not.
so I talk about rots?
Well, I was going to actually. We don't care about the average, and all right, fine,
Yeah,
you're
we
right.
do.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Spit 'em out.
it's fine.
Yes.
We don't want to
Stay
know.
consistent.
I don't care.
I
Stay
do.
consistent.
Yes.
This whole podcast
Yeah.
is non-consistent.
We're-
Let's
What?
be real here.
We're
We're
losing
exposing.
viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
What's
Okay,
our-
so you know what I want to? We will save rates for later.
Okay.
Um,
Not really excited.
haunted houses. I mean, it's about time for Halloween, right? That's tomorrow. And
About.
everybody about time.
Getting close.
Might be right tomorrow.
Are
Right.
there any haunted houses open?
Yes.
Yes. So my kids just went to the 2 of them last week.
Where?
Asylum and something else. I can't remember the name of them, but
You let them go?
I did not.
Were the zombies?
They weren't with me.
Were the zombies behind plexiglass?
I was like, were
I
they
don't
like
know.
in a hazmat suit as they walked through?
I don't know.
You,
I don't know.
but they're okay.
It wasn't with me.
Okay. But they're okay.
They're fine so far. Yeah,
They
I'm
didn't get-
okay.
They didn't get their bejeebies scared out of them.
Yeah, apparently they're still alive.
Good.
Didn't have heart attacks in it. But I'm not talking about like the haunted houses in that you can just go and, get scared through, but I'm talking about like real haunted houses. Like legitimate
the
haunted
Winchester house?
houses. Winchester, where's that?
The Winchester Museum in California. Have you never been there?
No.
Ooh, super crazy. That's a crazy museum. I mean, it's a museum now, but it's a house that was just this lady built it, and it has like some crazy stuff going on inside of the house. Like and you could really feel that. Oh, and then I went to Louisiana.
I was going to ask you your Louisiana, your Nolans haunted house thing.
That was legit.
Okay,
Like,
you have to. Brian, have you heard the story?
No.
It doesn't matter. You should
No.
tell it again.
Tell it again.
so Sydney went out there. We went to the LSU, and of course the moms had to hang out. And so one mom was like, "Well, my choice is to go to a haunted house." And of course, we all have to do what everybody says because it's just the three of us. So we went out to this. I think it's like one of the most haunted homes in America. Like there's actually a list.
Okay.
So you go in there. It's a nice little ground area. It actually is a place that people will have receptions at. But you walk through and they take you through the tour and there's some crazy, like, you could feel some of that stuff that's happening in there. You can kind of see where, for me, I couldn't really get into like there because I was so against like, hey, I don't even want to be here. So we get into our rental car. To leave. Afterwards, yes. We go through the whole thing, whatever, joking around, thinking it was like a really cool experience. We get into the rental car, and there's 4 of us. The middle seat, you know how the seatbelts go off because your seatbelt's not on? The middle seatbelt the alert kept going off, and I'm like, hey, move your, like, you guys are leaning over too
your
much.
butts are
Scoot
too your butts are too wide. Yeah, get your
they're
cheeks over.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they move over, and it just keeps going off. So we pull over the side of the road thinking there's a technicality with the seat belts. And so pull over the side of the road, check all the seat belts, get back in, and same thing. That middle seat just keeps going off. We're like, did somebody happen to bring the friendly ghost with us? That truly was like the whole night. It would not shut off. It would not shut off until we actually put the seatbelt on. The minute you pull the seatbelt off, it would start going off again as though somebody was actually like sitting in there. So we picked up the girls that night and they're like, negative, we are not sitting in your car or in that seat. But it stayed on the whole time.
You told them the story.
I mean,
Because they said, why is the seatbelt buckled?
what is your problem? Yeah, that's crazy though, right?
Yeah.
So if you want that experience here in Vegas, there's Zach Baggins' The Haunted Museum. Have you guys been to that?
No.
That is pretty freaky.
Where is it at?
It is 600 East Charleston. So my mom is really into like ghost hunting and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, she
No,
goes on
she's
these tours.
not.
Yeah, and so she came down and she wanted to go to this. So we went, and it was a long line to get in because they only let like groups in, and they take you room to room through this house.
I'm
And
sorry,
it-
this is really bothering me.
I'm shedding still. And but no, it was kind of freaky. So then there's this last room, and I forget, it's kind of a box, like a spirit box or something, and there's one in there. And they warn people, I mean, if you don't want to go into this room, you don't have to go into this room. And I'm like, I'll go into this room.
I ain't scared.
And I had a similar experience, but it wasn't in the car. It was when I got home. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could feel like there was a ghostly presence in my condo. It was there for 2 weeks. And it was like it was hiding in my master closet. So
Nope, that was just Shelly creeping on you.
no, thank God for you picked her up and drove her out of there. No, but seriously, so I don't know if you start playing with your mind or what, but it was freaky. But I could feel the presences in there. But I always try not to
Disturb
or not even think about it. Like,
Yeah.
I believe it's
Yeah.
all there, but I try not to think about it. But yeah, that's if you want a good experience or a scary experience, that's a fun one.
So there's actually a
night.
couple haunted houses for sale. You can actually buy the house. It's the house from Silence of Lambs for $298,000.
No, thank you.
It's 2,400 square feet home. It's on 2 acres. It has 4 bedrooms
Where's
with
that at?
1 bath. It's in Wexford, Pennsylvania.
What is Silence of the Lambs? Is that a?
Oh my God.
You
I don't
gotta
watch
watch
scary
that.
movies. No,
Oh,
I barely watch movies to begin with. Well,
But you go to
Clarice.
haunted houses?
I did not intend to go to. I mean, I only did it to be part of the cool kids, which clearly that's what
the
I
cool
do.
kids are watching Silence of the Lambs.
She's the only one still wearing her head.
Silence of the Lambs. Is that Clarice?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Clarice. And then there's the house, Lizzie Borden's house, where Lizzie was famously murdered by her father and stepmother in 1892.
Where's that one?
She moved into it. That one's in Gloucester, Rhode Island. Gloucester. I've never even heard of it.
So does this stuff have to be marked on the SRPD that it's a haunted house?
Well, it
So in
depends on
some
the state,
states, yeah.
right?
Here it doesn't, but in Louisiana it does. If it's a haunted house, it has to be marked on a disclosure of some sort.
That
Or if there's been a
Ghosts
murder or
or-
death.
I don't know about all that. I know from what I remember, it was just that there are ghosts in the home.
But
That's
how-
what they. I don't know.
But
if
how
there's
do
a
you
murder.
prove it or disprove it? Like,
I don't know.
like there was
we
no
send you- we
there
send
was
your
no
mom.
ghosts until you went to the
That's
museum
right.
and then you drove it home.
That's
so-
right.
And
Yeah.
then it'll be gone. That
And
doesn't-
usually
you
it's
should take that
because
off.
somebody's passed away, right? That make sure my whole.
You should put it back on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's when somebody's passed away that the ghost appears, right? That's usually the reason because they're still trying to play around in that little house.
Yeah. So the Black Dahlia murder house is also for sale,
I don't even
So-
know.
which has had $2
That's
million
in
in
Texas, isn't it?
renovations. No, that's in California.
That's in California.
$4.7 million.
So there's a movie called California. It starts with a K. It's with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And Juliette Lewis. It's one of my favorite shows ever, and it's David Duchovny too. They drive across the U.S. visiting murder sites. One guy's the writer, and
Scary.
Brad Pitt plays a serial killer who's with him.
Yeah.
But that's where they end up is that house. That's the last stop.
Crazy. Yep. And
There
then
are like some serious people that like enjoy that type of.
And then the Amityville Horror House, what used to be on the market, it's no longer on the market. It actually got sold in 2017 for $605,000. That's where Ronald DeFeo murdered his parents and 4 siblings while they slept in 1974. It's still haunted, apparently, to this day.
That is on the set of the Universal Studios
Amityville Horror Show, yeah.
backstage.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That
Would
is
you buy
crazy.
one?
A haunted house? I probably wouldn't. No, dude, I was freaked out when in my house when I first bought it. I mean, I saged the crap out of my house. I had, friends do it, whatever. But I used to, in the middle of the night, the doorbell would just ring. Like,
I said,
Your house that
sorry.
you live in today?
stop creeping. Yeah. So at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, it just ring, right? So I'd get up and I'd like, it's got to be an emergency. Someone's coming over,
Yeah.
of course. And even, let's be honest, like people come to your house and they ring the doorbell and right? I mean, do you let people in like that when they're frantic?
No.
Yeah, I'd be scared to do that too, but I'm also a scaredy cat. Unless I had my gun and now my sword. I have a sword.
Did
We
you
want to
get
talk
it?
about that.
I
too.
have a sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would get doorbell rings, and so I was like, "What in the world?" And of course, I got one of the Ring doorbells to see, and there was nobody there, like ever. It wasn't windy. There was nothing, nobody there. And I have one of those lights installed that when you walk up to my front door, it automatically goes on. It's one of those like sensors. Well, that never turned on, but the doorbell kept ringing.
What?
So then I had friends come over, sage
The
it,
wind.
come over, sage it. Right? We probably saged it like 2 or 3 times.
How about just change the doorbell?
So I changed the doorbell, and that
stopped?
seemed to solve the problem.
Well, I thought we were going to some
Yeah.
super
Yep,
Amityville
this
type
is
conversation.
Kind of like fix the seatbelt in the car. Everything will be fine.
Just snap the seatbelt.
Close the door to your garage. There's no ghost in there.
Yeah, so I would not buy a haunted house to answer your question.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody said this house was haunted, that's one thing. But if there was actually murders and stuff in that house, that I think I'd have a hard time.
So there are some cultures that won't live in homes. I'm sorry, Shelley. What about you? Would you buy a haunted house?
No.
Okay.
I would not. No. I don't even like going to them. So
Yeah.
just for sheer, I don't even like Halloween. It's too scary of a holiday for me.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, disguising yourself as cute stuff would be cute, but everybody comes out with like these creeper looks. Like,
Yeah.
what's the Screech guy or the?
Oh God,
Scream
I know, but
guy.
I love
Yeah,
horror
Scream.
movies like that. Scream. That was
They're all so dumb.
They are dumb, but they're kind of cool. Like they get you. Anyways, so
I'm the worst person to watch a scary movie with.
Why?
1, because I watch it like this, and 2, like every little thing, the door opening, like, yeah, I freak out too much. Sorry, back to you guys.
so silly. What was the other thing I was going to ask before we went to Shelley? I was in the middle of a thought.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I
Okay.
gotta pick up my hair wig. Hold on.
I have to,
Bless you.
can't be coronavirus because I'm in quarantine.
Yeah, sanitize everything.
Yeah. So I wouldn't buy a haunted house. None of us would buy a haunted house, although I think that some people definitely do like that stuff. Right. I wouldn't mind it. And murders, so that's what I was saying. Some cultures don't even like living in homes where someone's been, has either committed suicide or anybody died in the home. People just won't live in there.
But how do you find that out if it's not something that is supposed to be disclosed on?
No, it's not supposed to be disclosed. It doesn't have to be disclosed.
Correct.
Somebody asks you, you could tell them. But the best way, if you want to know the history of a house, just go ask
Call the neighbors.
The neighbors will tell you everything.
Knock,
that's
knock.
happened
I'm about to buy a house next door. Anybody die there? Yeah, that's
You don't
just
have to
trigger.
disclose a death in the house unless the house is the reason the person died.
Correct. Here in Nevada.
Here in Nevada, yeah.
So if the roof fell on them, then you'd have to disclose.
If it was a meth
Well-
lab, if there was an electrical fire, if there was anything like that, if the house caused the actual death,
Okay.
mold, anything like that, right? Then yes,
You ran into the wall or something.
that's your stupidity, not the house's.
But it was the house. Be wary of that corner. No, but you would if
The edge.
the roof collapsed on me, you'd be disclosing that the roof collapsed anyway, right? So
Pretty sure that.
May have taken down the owner.
Yeah, yeah.
But if there was if there was chemicals or something like that in that house that caused something, you'd have to disclose all that.
Yeah.
Ah.
There was, I remember someone telling me one time that they had an issue with pests where there were scorpions actually living in the walls, like in the interior of the walls. And so that was something that the house caused the death because the scorpions came and, yeah,
And what?
stung people in the middle of the night. Dude, those things are nasty. Blech.
Yeah. So would you sell a house if you got a scorpion in it?
I have scorpions in my house.
One, yeah.
I got scorpions all over my house.
So what do you?
I get it.
You move.
So the scorpions are in my walls, right? I mean, they're
And
not.
there's not an
they're-
infestation.
They're not. Yeah, it's not an infestation. Like they're.
So
I
you see
see
one-
them every so often. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I've gotten
freaky to me.
You
so.
want to know if you have scorpions?
Oh God.
Just turn out the lights and get a black light. And
Oh,
walk
yeah, I have
around,
that.
They'll glow.
I have a friend of mine who lives. We have a. So in my
They come up
neighborhood.
to
You're on
Highlights
the you're on the
too.
25th floor. You're probably safe unless one cat hitched a ride up.
They're pretty much, most of them are in Summerlin, which is kind of bizarre. But so I live on this like circle almost, right? And so my side of the street, there's other houses behind me. And then on the other side of the street, there is like a walking path area or whatever. Well, so on that side of the street, like people were telling me when they moved into their house, one of the neighbors, they said that they moved in and there were like the outlets were glued, right? Like they were covered and they were like glued onto the edges. And I'm like, that's weird. It's because the scorpions used to literally come through the outlets and just come out because of the wash or whatever it was that was behind them, the walking path. So, I have somebody that comes and takes care of it, but she goes in the house every single,
Your
couple of
scorpion
nights
killer?
or whatever, and she takes a black light to check to make sure that there's no scorpions in her
You
kids'
legitimately
bedrooms.
have. It's not your termite person. This is one person who comes in.
No, it's
and-
my termite person.
Oh, okay.
But he knows that
Your
that's
pest
what I'm
control
looking
guy.
for. So the other thing you can do
I mean,
is you
pest
can take diatomaceous earth. Have you ever diatomaceous earth? And you can actually, it's like a fine glass, not the edible kind, but the fine glass kind, and you put it around the house, on the edge of the house, and then on the outer. So that's what my guy does. Of course, when it's windy, it just gets blown away. But what happens is they crawl over that diatomaceous earth, and it's glassy, so it scratches them and kills them. So anytime I find scorpions, they're dead. There was one time I didn't, it was twice actually, that it was alive. And now I have this spray thingy or whatever. They don't die. You can't, if you freeze them and you defrost them, they come back to life.
Oh.
Yeah. I have my best friend from California. When she comes, she's like, "Hey, do you have any scorpions? I want to take them home to my son." I'm like, "You're nuts."
To do what?
I don't know. They just look at them.
Oh my gosh.
It's scary. So now I've gotten so blatant. Before I used to freak out and yell and scream, and then
Yeah.
I would never wear. I always have socks on in the house. I'm constantly conscious of it and whatnot. But I'm now a little bit more blatant about it, where I'm just like, oh look, there's a scorpion. I'm gonna catch it, and then I catch it. And
Okay,
then
so how do you catch it? A cup?
no. So I take not a cup. I
With
take
your shoe.
I take a
Step on it.
plastic
Seriously?
container. No.
But if it doesn't die,
I take a plastic container. It dies if you step on it. I take a plastic container and then I just swoop it in and then close the lid on it and hold it for my pest guy when he comes. I'm like, hey, I don't want you to put this out in my house.
So there's scorpion maps and stuff. If you Google scorpion map Las Vegas, you can find all kinds of stuff to
Shut
find
the
out.
front door
Yeah.
so where's the highest concentration of scorpions?
in your neighborhood.
Well, there was top 3 scorpion infested areas in Las Vegas.
Might
by
be moving out of that.
So it started.
15-year
It started in
Mountains
Tournament
Edge
Hills.
and Fort Fort Apache.
Yeah,
Edge.
it's so Fort Apache
Where's
is over by
Tournament Hills?
Tournament Hills is Rampart and Vegas area, right where right in
yeah.
that little area.
Why?
Because they imported these palm trees, all these rich bums heads. I don't know, asshats.
Yeah,
they imported
breed inside those trees.
Correct. They imported these palm trees from Mexico or whatever, and they came with the palm tree, and then it just like wildfire.
That's awesome.
They're gonna
Not really
be wanting
awesome.
to go after water. So water and food.
Yep. And
You
then
have landscaping in your house.
Don't do
on
river
your
rock.
property. Really?
yeah, so they hide.
A water
River
source.
rock is really where they love to hide underneath. The round like soft
I
rock.
almost was gonna just redo my whole yard.
Yeah,
With
no
river
river rock. Don't river rock.
You're in
So much
Summerlin and
softer.
River Rock.
It is
You're-
so much softer, right? And it's probably good for the dogs, but that's where these little
No, my dogs
bastards
can't
say.
eat that. They can't break it down like the other rocks.
They're like,
Your dogs eat rocks.
Yeah, my youngest one, my silver lab, yeah, he eats rocks.
I
plastic.
figure,
Oh,
isn't
you know
that
what
how
he
you
did?
curse people? Hey, go
You know
eat
what
rocks.
he did yesterday? So you buy the cases of water, right?
Yeah.
And usually as you're taking them out, there's a few left in the back. So I pull it out of the closet and put it on the counter. There was about 6 of them in there. I'm going to drink these today. And I went upstairs to take a shower and I came down and they're not on the counter anymore.
What the hell did he do?
He
drank
ate them
them.
all.
What do you mean
He
ate them?
shredded it and ate the bottles and everything.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
Like
no.
little
The
Riley.
bottles are somewhere. He's dug them up.
No.
There's no way he ate
no,
plastic.
it was all over. Yeah.
Shut the hell up.
Like there were shreds of it.
That's not
he's having separation anxiety.
A few weeks ago, I was like, I
Did
got
he
to.
take apart your love sack? Like
Yeah,
the
he dismantled
couch?
my whole couch one day.
Which is, by the way, not easy to like put those little things together.
He's a smart little
He
guy.
pulled all the cushions off the couch, and there's these little brackets that hold the sides, and he pulled all the brackets, so my
Those-
couch is in pieces.
Those brackets
Maybe
are
you have
not
a ghost, Brandon.
No,
Maybe it's really not the
it's a
dog.
And the other thing is I got these really nice bananas one day, and I took one banana off the bushel. When I came home that night, there was no bananas.
Bananas.
None. No evidence of bananas anywhere in my house.
I love the story, but what makes the difference between a really bad banana and a really good banana?
Yellow and brown or black.
But you would buy brown bananas?
No.
Only if you're
I was
making
just
banana nut
excited to have
bread.
bananas, right?
Yeah.
There's still a purpose for them.
There's still
got it.
purpose for them.
But anyway, my dog ate the whole bushel of bananas too. Never turned up any evidence. None.
Probably if you went to dissect his poop.
Feces?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I won't be doing that.
You see some like glass remnants.
I won't even tell you
some
what he does with poop. So
River
anyway.
rocks. Some bananas. He has some
Oh,
plastic Aquafina stuff
Just
coming
put it
up.
this way: my chocolate lab doesn't poop.
Are you serious?
I don't even
There's
wanna
never
know.
any poops in the yard of his.
You have 2 dogs. How do you know
How
that?
do
Does
you
he
know
eat the
one's
other
silver,
dog's
one's
poop
dark?
too?
Ding ding ding.
Do you
ding.
not feed him enough?
My chocolate lab's 102 pounds.
Do you not feed him enough?
I feed them plenty.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Riley is his
Clear-
name, right?
Riley is the.
Right. Is the little one.
I'll tell you, when you think about getting 2 dogs, maybe you should think twice.
It's like having 2
I
kids.
love the dog. I wouldn't change it, but yeah. I have this chocolate lab. He's perfect. He does
Just
everything.
can't put anything
perfect.
on the counter.
It's the gray one.
He's still
Anyway,
a puppy.
enough about me. Let's talk about something else. How did we get to scorpions?
Because we got to scorpions because of the house. If the house causes the death, and there was a house that caused
This
the
So
death.
how did
is
we
our
end up on
spooktacular
dogs?
episode.
Anyway, so
We talked about River Rock because your dog eats
that's
River
right.
Rock.
There-
So
it's all coming together now.
Yep. This is weird because I usually don't remember that kind of shit, and here I am
know.
putting it all together for us, bringing
Thank
back
you.
bringing it back. All right, so we talked about haunted houses. We've talked about not getting River Rock in your yard at all. Although, I mean, do it. I mean, I don't think there's an infestation in the Southwest. You have a map and everything.
No, I think there is. I don't.
Well, you're
I haven't seen-
Summerlin, aren't you?
No,
Yeah.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Summerlin.
Summerlin in the Mesas.
Summerlin, South.
So, did you guys vote?
Yes.
Done and done.
How was your process? Was it fast?
So quick. I was in and out of there. I went, I did, it's weird because there's a lot of people that believe that voting early isn't actually really voting. Because I'm telling you, I can't tell you, like, anytime I'm like, hey, let's do something November 3rd, they're like, oh, that's election day. And I was like, yeah, I already voted. Well, that doesn't count.
Why'd you throw
Yeah,
your
it
vote away?
does.
Because they get the day off. That's why it counts.
I don't
for them?
No, it
know.
doesn't.
I don't
It
know. But
doesn't.
people
But
stand in
there's-
line for hours.
There's
crazy.
something neat about actually voting on election day. And normally I will vote just on election day. partially because I want to see if anything else develops, if I'm going to change my vote or not. Because, one of the top Google searches right now is, can I change my vote?
Really?
Really?
Yes. So that leads me to believe that people have voted early and then something's come up and they think about changing it. But the fact of the matter is, I like to do it. But this year I did vote early, and I voted early because I'm not sure what it would look like on Election Day.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to stand in line for hours, and I didn't want to not vote because I was going to be frustrated with the line.
Yeah.
So I went to the location by the ballpark in downtown Summerlin. It was busy,
Oh, no.
but it was efficient. I walked in, voted, walked out. It was like no problems. And
Yeah.
there was just a constant chain of people going, so.
I did like a senior community center, and I got there at like 6:45, and I was out
At
of
night?
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they closed at 7, so I knew that there weren't going to be a bunch of people going.
We're already done with dinner and in bed.
Did they have anyone work in the booth?
Yeah. One of our agents was actually volunteering.
Was it
which is kinda
Florence?
Cool.
Florence, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went there at 6:45. I got in. They checked me in or whatever. And same thing. I think similar thing that happened to you, where they're like, "Would you like to? Or are you foregoing your mail-in ballot?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay, can we have it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't know I was supposed to bring that with me.
I didn't, you're surrendering your mail-in
Yeah.
vote, and so I'm like, yeah, I'll surrender that over. And then I clicked yes on the thing, and then they're like, well, where is it? And I'm like,
Yeah. There was
I
no
was-
instruction.
Yeah.
It was not very clear. So, anyways, I went home and threw it away or whatever
Not me,
because it's
eh?
illegal to vote twice.
I'm saving mine. I think they'll be worth money someday.
Shit.
What a great idea.
God dang it. I ripped mine up. Can I have yours? Beta, you don't
Can I
vote.
have yours?
I mean, you're not really.
Yeah.
Peter, are you old enough to
Citizen.
vote?
That just shows,
old enough to
that
vote.
just shows how secure the mail-in ballots are. Just trading them like trading cards.
I want it so because it'll be worth some money later. So, right? No? Yeah. Okay.
No, maybe.
Yeah. In and out. I was home by 7:10 and ready to eat dinner.
They did a good job too, like keeping everybody socially distanced and
I thought it was
wiping
great.
down all
yeah.
the equipment.
They
and-
wiped down everything,
Yeah.
like and you could see them, like they had spray bottles, and
Yeah.
they were just, yeah.
No, it was good. I didn't feel unsafe in any way.
Yeah, same. Even
I
though
didn't-
we're like, I mean, it's still like the booths are next to each other when you're voting, right? But
Yeah.
you,
And
the whole process.
they were
getting
using
in.
them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was going to catch the virus, and I didn't feel like I was going to get beat up or anything. So it was a good
Beat up?
process. Yeah.
What were you wearing
Well,
a hat
voter
that said-
intimidation or something like that. You hear all kinds of stories, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it was
sorry,
it was a good experience anyway. So and I think they're 80 million. They're getting close to 80 million people have already voted.
That's crazy. Do you think this will be the highest turnout?
Ever
this year?
I don't. I think it'll still be I think it'll be higher than normal.
Yeah.
But
What's the lag time? Are they saying when they're going to actually cut off the mail-in votes?
3 days after election day.
well, it depends.
has
on,
to be
it depends on the
received.
state. It depends on the state. So some it has to be postmarked in.
I know, but the country at some point has to say, "All right, state,
Yeah,
get
right.
get your shit together,
But
or we're
that's-
done."
But there's
Right?
been challenges in the Supreme Court over this already
Oh.
on them. So Pennsylvania, I think, is 3 or more days after that, and that's going to be a very critical state. Could be a very critical state on who wins that, could win the election. So we could go through, unless somebody's a decisive winner. If it's close, it could be a week or so before we actually know.
Wow. So that'll be unique, right?
Yep.
Could be, and
Yeah.
then you could see riots, you could see all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is a very contentious election. So, but you got a sword, you're good.
I got a sword and a gun.
What do you think it's going to do to the market? Like heading in either one? You think it's going to toss
So
some
my
fairness?
crystal ball says I don't know at all.
Yeah.
I
was gonna
think
say
well,
something
the
else, but I
economy is
have no
going
idea.
good. I mean, GDP came out; it was high
Yeah.
yesterday, record. So, it is just interesting with all the things going around. How good the real estate market it's just crazy. I mean, especially when you know there's people that are out of work, right? Especially in Vegas because of the service industry, but yet things are still plugging along.
Yeah, I have people actually calling like, "Hey, can you get me locked in today before the 3rd?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"What the hell?" Yeah.
I had clients that wanted to close because of this issue. They were just like, we don't know what's going to happen, and the market might might crash, and
Yeah.
then blah blah blah. Like, let's just get it done. I'm like, okay.
Well, you think, okay,
Rather
so
than-
you've got people that are worried, right?
Right.
But we just had a major resort open here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adults only, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
That's
no.
kind of crazy. It's like they're our own little Disneyland. Like, what
Well,
is it?
it's a casino.
I know. So what are they gonna? We
It's
got to
a-
drop
they-
the kids off at the pool.
No, you can't even take them in there. But it's a huge sports book. I went.
Did you?
Yeah, so I went and checked it out, and it was packed.
I'm sorry, I didn't see any of the Facebook posts or
Same.
anything.
That's
like, what-
because it was packed.
Oh.
It was
coronavirus. What?
I'm heading there
Are
for
they
the
not-
date night dinner tonight.
Are you
Supposedly
really?
has a good steakhouse.
okay. So I'll give a good story about that steakhouse. Do you know
Uh-oh.
what the name of it is?
I don't
Circa.
remember.
No, but there's a steakhouse. So we went there, and I'll.
What is it called?
Shoot, I don't know.
If
Go
you
ahead.
look at,
you went to
uh,
the steakhouse though?
Yeah. So we went to the steakhouse. So we get there, and one of the girls, and I won't even say her name because it's a total fail here. She knows the VP of the steakhouse, right? And so she's like, "Hey, we'll all go down there." Well, there was 11 of us, right? And so she's like, "Okay, so."
Did
we'll
you get an invitation?
I didn't.
No, it was you didn't show up to the RPAC event. So we just went after
I didn't get an
RPAC.
invite. Period.
Well, you're not a realtor. So you couldn't come to the RPAC event. But anyway, so we
I was
went
building a
Sit over
desk.
here
All
while-
right.
We
I have
went there
children,
after.
and I was building a desk.
So
just gonna
they take 11 of us down to the
gone anyway.
steakhouse, right?
I wouldn't have gone anyway.
Get us into the steakhouse, and it's packed, right? And stand over here and wait till your table's ready.
So it wasn't like 50% capacity.
it
They
was,
didn't-
no,
Yeah,
no. There was
okay.
music. It was the whole casino was packed.
Okay. There was music because that's okay.
Well, that's
air.
scares the virus away. I don't know. But we're
The louder
sitting
it
there-
is.
We're sitting there, and I'm standing next to Mark Sharoni, and Mark
Yeah.
goes, "Look at the tables. You look around. It's a steakhouse, right? There was no food on the tables. Like nobody was eating the steak. Finally, we get a booth, which is just kind of a temporary booth till our table's ready, and they bring us out this little sampler plate, just like, and it had 2 pieces of steak on it and a shrimp, and it was amazing. It was good stuff. We finally get our table. We sit down at the table, and guess what?
No
No
steak.
food.
Kitchen's closed.
What?
We got a table,
So I don't know.
right?
I don't
It was
know.
crazy.
Let me just make
Did
sure
you
I
go
got a
after hours?
reservation tonight. And that is
No, it was like 10 o'clock. I don't know how late that's open, so make sure you got a reservation for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's
it was a cool steakhouse. The vibe was cool. There was lots of people there.
Lots of music,
Um,
no coronavirus.
Well,
it
everyone,
gets extinguished on the way in
everyone,
the door.
everyone had their masks, so they were exempt
That's
from
it
it.
with you.
No,
So will I
but-
be cool with these masks and
Hell
the
yeah.
music going on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I think it's yeah.
Do you like
Anyway.
them?
Yes, I
All
love
right.
them. Yes, I'm gonna. So one's for Sydney and one's for Rich.
Yes. Rich gets the
Rainbow bright
multicolor
one?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, the casino's cool.
Nice.
It is cool.
So
Big
is it
TV.
just about because there's that gigantic pool in there supposedly, right? That's
Yeah.
like
That's like around the edge of the.
Yeah, and then they've got
casino.
big sports.
yeah, it's a
TVs
big
up
old
and stuff, yeah.
sports book type setup or
Yeah.
gaming setup, I guess you.
So I
know.
didn't really go through everything. It was just kind of in this area, but it was busy and it was full. And they do ID you to get you before you come in.
It is a little nuts to me that
Yeah.
we're opening a major casino like that. I mean, a massive casino, when the rest of our casinos in Vegas are struggling at this time, right? I mean, I guess it's good for in our economy, for people getting jobs, and actually, so I guess that's a good thing, and that sort of brings a little positivity back into 2020.
No, you sent an article on that opening, and,
Yeah.
and that they thought it was a weird time to open, but
Yeah, but I mean, like the show must go on, right? I mean, they're already set up. They didn't stop
You
the
gotta
construction
live.
side of it. Yeah,
you know, I don't think you're going to eradicate this
Yeah,
virus.
and I
you're
think
going to
that's
have to
what
learn to live with it some way or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. So,
and that was like the first casino to be built, one in a long time, but also in Fremont Street, right? Like that was ground
Yeah.
up. So they haven't seen any. They've done a lot of renovations to a lot of the hotels down there, but nothing
Yeah.
ground up like
it's
that.
the most modern thing down there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see now after the grand opening and the initial thing how good they do through
Yeah.
this time. But we'll see.
Well, did you know? I read something about Fremont. The Fremont Street experience is like number 2 traveled spots in the country, as far as just
Right
that
now?
little Fremont
Or just
Street
overall?
area.
I heard
Just
they were
overall.
redoing that top too.
Yeah.
the LED screen. But this
They
will,
just redid that.
I know.
well, maybe it's old news then. But this will be an
Maybe the
interesting
article I
thing
looked
too,
at was
because
10
this
years
will
ago.
pull people from the strip, right? So
Well, I mean, I've heard of all sorts of fights and stuff happening on the strip right now, so which is unfortunate. Like I worry about that. Anyways, we went to Adventure Dome, believe it or not,
How was that?
2
That's
weeks
still
ago.
open?
So Adventure Dome's still open. I took the.
she's quarantining. You
I
can
am.
tell.
Well, so here's the
Seriously?
thing, right? I actually
Ground zero.
I actually took my son, and we went at 10 a.m. There was like.
Oh yeah,
There
before
were-
the virus wakes up.
There were right, and it was loud in there. There was a lot of music, so it
Scared
didn't
it
exist.
away.
There were literally like 5 people in Adventure Dome until about 1 o'clock, and then
it
it
got
got,
busy.
and then it just like vroom. And I looked at the kids and I was like, "Hey, you've ridden every single ride 17 times. We're going," and we were up and out of there.
We're off to the
But-
So
pumpkin
it's
patch.
same setup, no.
Yeah,
nothing
and of course I have so my son. It was a birthday party, and so the parent called me and was like, "Hey, this is what we want to do," and I was like, "Really? I mean, you know we're in a pandemic, right?" He's like, "I know, but this is what she wants to do." Okay, so there was 4 other kids or whatever. I show up and I told my son, I was like, "The only way you're going is if I go with you," and he was like, "Are you serious, Mom?" And I go, "Do you want to go or not?" He goes, "Fine." So I legit show up with like a tub this big of sanitizer and and sprays and like gels. Don't you? I mean,
I'm not judging you. I'm just gonna say
I
you
carry the same
gotta
one.
you gotta let your kids eat dirt.
I mean, he can eat dirt in my house where it's sanitized. Right? I mean,
Could you
still, like,
imagine
it's-
the colds and the flus and the other viruses you picked up there before?
Yeah. Well,
Now there's just a big.
no, we didn't. I mean, I wiped down everything before they sat on them, after they came
even,
off. It was
even
just really
before
crazy.
coronavirus, like years back.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
We used to never take Sydney, like every time we took Sydney to Chuck E. Cheese, she would catch pneumonia, like all the time. So then we stopped taking her to Chuck E.
Keep
Cheese.
her away
'cause
from rats.
rats, because that has pneumonia.
Isn't that what
All right.
Chuck E. Cheese is? A big rat?
So talking about this, I'm gonna mention something that has nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. We have right now in Portland, Oregon. Have you guys heard of
Yeah.
this nonsense that they're doing over there to landlords?
Yeah.
I mean-
yeah, I think I sent that. That's crazy.
You're the one that told us about
I
it.
know. I'm like,
Did you
Well,
read
I knew
it?
about it before you, but
I read it.
not that I knew about it before you, but before you sent it to
Yeah,
us.
break it
but
down.
I thought it
'cause
was
Yes.
This is crazy.
so.
actually real estate.
We've been talking about I mean, we talk about haunted houses, how you can buy them. I mean, we
Yeah.
talked about River Rock and Scorpions and where they're located. I mean, I feel like we real estate, sprinkle every so often. And so that's what we should be called. We should be called
Real estate sprinkles.
real estate fairies. We just go around.
Yeah, did you see our hair?
Brandon's like, and we no longer
sprinkling a
have
little bit of real
sponsorship from
estate.
Signature Real Estate School.
Signature School of Real Estate.
Signatures.
Signature Real Estate School. Damn it, I keep screwing
School
up
of
that
Real
name.
Estate?
So anyways, I better get that right for our
Yeah.
sponsor. So,
Oregon law.
Portland,
Portland.
Oregon is now having, so tenants haven't paid since April, right? And now to get those tenants out of the home, a landlord who hasn't been paid since April will have to take on relocation costs.
Wait, if you raise the rent,
Right.
is what it said. So if you're coming to the end of the lease and you're going to raise the rent to market value or whatever, and then the tenant says, I can't pay that and I want to move,
Yep.
then the
Landlord.
landlord can be responsible for their moving costs
For the relocation
Up to
costs.
$4,500
up to
bucks.
$4,500.
Tell me how crazy that is. That's nuts.
After they probably haven't paid rent for
Right.
months.
Right.
You're in the hole, you're behind on your mortgage and everything else because they haven't paid you. Now you want them out and now
Apparently,
you
I
have to
didn't
pay
read
to
the
move
article
them.
well enough, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it says.
Yeah. It's genius.
No, it's not genius. It is not
For the
genius.
tenant.
For the tenant, it is right. But who isn't raising rent right now? If you're in a lease, like the rents are going up $200-$300, why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
have
haven't been
raised
paid
my-
since April. So I finally did. I do have a tenant that hasn't paid since April, owes a ton of money. Finally talked to the landlord and I said, hey, you need to speak to an attorney because chances are you're not going to get paid on this. This guy is broke. He's whatever. And he's now filed small claims. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, so
And
that
this-
was an interesting spin on it. Everyone thought just because they're not paying and you can't evict them, you have no recourse. But you can still sue them
can
for
still
what they
sue.
owe you. You just can't kick them out of your house.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
which
You're
is going
still
to
not
make it
gonna
even
get any-
nicer.
yeah.
Now you sued me now.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we this tenant had an issue in with the house itself. Where remember I was telling you back in the day, like a month ago, that all we can hope for now, because you can't evict tenants for non-payment, but you can evict them for payment on other violations, not for paying, but for other violations
and
while
let's-
they're paying.
Let's clear it up too. Nevada is moratorium on evictions is passed.
Finally,
And so
October
now it's
14th,
just the
yeah.
CDC guidelines.
Correct. So even if they show up, let's say for the evictions to eviction court or whatever, and the judge is like, all right, well, I'm going to grant the eviction. That tenant can pull out the declaration, the CDC declaration, and boom, done. Like everything stops, everything halts. They go back to their house. They live in there for free until the end of December. Nobody can touch them. Like it's almost like, what is it? I don't.
Strategic.
Nope. There's a word for it. I can't remember it, but I'll figure it out later. I'll remember and then I'll
Instant
be like, "Oh my
protection.
god, that's what the show's going to be called."
I thought it was going to be spectacular
Yeah.
episode, real estate episode. Peter's like, no.
Nope.
Wigging
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
I like that one.
I do have a lot of tenants right now that are in properties that are paying that haven't had an issue. I just have this one guy that I can't. He's just like, "How long can I stay in this house for free?" Like legitimately asked me that.
So, tenants, is this like posted somewhere that you don't have to make your rent payments and you can't get kicked out?
I mean, they're
You'll hear-
watching the
You'll
news,
hear
right?
things on the news, and you'll hear people say things, and then it spreads. But an interesting thing, I had one of our agents come in that manages a property, and these people their lease ended in August, and they were supposed to be out by August, but they said we can't find anything. So then they signed basically a letter stating that they would be out by the end of October. And so now they've gone dark. And so she's like calling that. So then the tenant's daughter finally says, well, my mom's been sick. I just found her phone and saw these messages. And our agent said, well, we need to come out and do an inspection, stuff like that. So when you start moving through the process, you can't call us, you can't harass us, and you can't kick us out, and hung up on her. Well, she's wrong. She can. And so she's...
I mean, now you could get into properties with 24-hour notice,
Yeah.
right?
So
Just to inspect or
you,
for just a true inspection of the property?
based on your
That's
lease, you have to
crazy.
give them 24-hour notice, and you go in.
Yeah. So now all leases are back to normal. The only difference is you can't kick people out of the property for not paying rent due to
Yeah.
CDC guidelines.
As long as they meet certain criteria.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
And there's like 8 of them or whatever. And I think have I ever read those?
We did.
I don't know
think
if
that
we
was
have
the
time.
day Brandon wasn't here.
Well,
Maybe we
while
should
you
go
look
through
them
it one more
up,
time.
we
No,
could
I'm
just
not gonna look 'em up.
congratulate you for Women of Distinction
Aw.
Award.
Yay!
Thanks,
Was
guys.
awarded to you by the National Association of Women Business Owners
It was.
in the category of real estate and construction.
Yeah.
I even
That's
nailed that.
awesome.
You did. You
I got that
nailed
right.
it. Good for you.
So what'd you get? Is it like a huge trophy?
No, they're sending me a plaque of some sort. So
Oh. So look for it in her office on
Yeah.
the wall next to all the other plaques and all the other awards
Wall
she's
of
got.
Fame.
She sure does.
It was kind of cool because it was funny because when I first got nominated, they send you this form that you have to fill out, and it's all about community stuff, right? Things that you do within the community and whatnot. So I filled out this form or whatever, and it was kind of cool to be nominated. And then I looked at all the other people that was nominated in the same category, and I was like, "Yep, not going to win that." Next thing I know, I'm sitting in the office and somebody sends because there was no reception this time. They apparently have a reception, so maybe this is the right year to win some stuff because, you're not you have to go anywhere. Which I will tell you.
You wouldn't want to go celebrate for that?
Yeah, totally.
After quarantine.
After quarantine,
She's going to go see
And
her parents.
Yeah. So I was, so I'm sitting here, and I all of a sudden get this Zoom call or whatever and saying congratulations, and I'm like, what the hell? So they did a Zoom or YouTube video every hour on the different categories. So every hour is a different category, and so
that's
somebody actually
cool.
videotaped it and sent it to me, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Wait, you won it,
But-
but they didn't give you the time when you were going to actually be presented with the award?
They did. I
Got it.
forgot.
She's got a tracking number.
Yeah.
So when the award arrives in the mail, that's when she's presented.
It's just to videotape it.
Right? And
Me?
you spoke in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
You did?
For a very short period of time. Yeah, it was actually kind of a cool.
Was it more than 5 seconds?
I think it was
It was a few
probably
minutes.
Yeah, that's a big production. Yeah, I was called
Who?
upon to,
What? Where? When?
So
Tell.
Central Church had called, had asked me like on Tuesday if I would share my story.
You go to
about-
church
I do. Can you believe that?
every Sunday?
Every Sunday. I go online because I don't want to. That was my first time actually going into church. Was kind of. I mean, it was actually really good to see how they spread everybody out. I mean, I feel bad because they just
It's a
remodeled
huge
their
church.
auditorium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually used to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
Why'd
way.
you stop?
Actually,
I found
interesting
God.
story. I grew up in Utah, LDS country. Never got baptized into any religion. It wasn't until I moved here I actually got baptized at Central Christian.
Did you really?
way.
Wow.
And a neat thing too was Dennis Pinkelman's wife, Connie, is the one that baptized me. And it was before I knew Dennis or anything. So
Huh.
There's, a lot of paths travel through there. like,
Yeah.
really, legitimately.
they
so,
do a good
No,
service. But back to you.
No. So I had the opportunity to get up on stage. I mean, this has prepared me for that. This prepared me for something like that because there's so
Well,
many
then you're
viewerships
welcome.
on our.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to get up there and share. It was probably 5-10 minutes.
You want to do it now?
I'm good. You go watch me on
Did
Central
you?
Live.
You record? Oh, okay. It's on
Yeah,
there.
it's
It's there,
recorded.
yeah.
No,
That's
I
where I
used-
went and saw it. I saw her post on like Instagram. I'm like,
Oh,
should
I
have told me
missed
I
it.
would have went.
Yeah.
But,
You could see it on. Yeah.
I
You
did
could see it
that.
online.
So I actually went there during a time where I really needed a little bit of clarity in my, like I had a lot going on and it 100% helped me, like just the message and the like, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
First Wednesdays. Have you ever been there for that?
No.
If they still do it, the first Wednesday of every month, it's all music. 'Cause
Oh,
part of
their
the cool-
worship. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a really neat atmosphere. So,
Yeah. That's the crazy part. It's like rock band. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they have some amazing worship time, I guess. you call
Nice job, Mrs. Panzarella.
it. Thank you.
Never
We're
cease to
very proud
amaze
of you.
me.
Yeah.
That was pretty exciting. You don't realize the production that is. Like, it is legit and right now it's 3. They used to have like 7 over the weekend.
Yeah.
So 3 services, and it's like you're dialed in and everything is, yeah, it was pretty cool. It's a cool
Very cool.
experience.
Nice. Congrats.
Thanks, Brandon. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah. What'd you do this week?
He put 6 bottles out on his,
This is the good news. the
you
good news
hired a
section.
new,
Yeah, we did. We hired a new
managing
sales
broker?
manager for our Southwest office, Tom Blanchard, who's current president of Las Vegas Realtors. And
Yep.
so we're excited about that. That's big news here.
yeah,
So-
that's big news.
Mhm.
Here and here.
Yep.
And
Here and there.
And everywhere.
So that's good. And
Maybe we can get him on the show. Do you think he would?
We could get him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since we do it in the office he works out. He will be on our weekender this week, but maybe we can get him on for a guest appearance next week, just for a few minutes.
I won't be here next week, remember?
We'll have.
Oh,
Neither
Tom
will you,
Tom
Brandon.
will be
Tom
sitting right there.
Blanchard.
Where will I be?
Professional standards training.
Oh, we're going to pre-record the show. We'll still be here
Okay.
because we're at our new day and time, Fridays at 9:30.
Do we get more viewership because of our new?
Yes, we did.
Good.
So
Yes, we did.
can we talk about rates before we got to be done? 'Cause I know we've
Oh my
got
gosh,
another
10 seconds or less.
Yeah.
You know, we had a little bit of a roller coaster ride this week just because of stocks, I guess, trended really high. There was some rumor about the stimulus getting passed, and then all of a sudden everybody went on vacation, I guess. They were going to wait until the elections until they decide on the stimulus. And so with that, stocks kind of went down and bonds rates actually.
Where are they going
went
on
down.
vacation? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm just kidding. Like they just basically
They stopped working.
stopped the
went out of session.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Sorry. They stopped their session.
I was like, what
I
are you
think they're going to
I'm
bring it
confused.
back. They'll probably bring it back right after the election, right? And
They'll
then,
have to do something after that.
yeah, you'll probably see that second thing of approval
Wave.
for stimulus. And then once you see that, I do believe we'll probably start to see a little bit of rates increasing. But I don't know that I don't think we're going to get into pre-COVID like 4.5 next year. I think we'll still stay in the low 3s,
Yeah.
which is still great, right? I mean, I don't know that we'll be in the
Still great.
2.5s.
It's amazing.
It is
Yeah,
amazing.
it is. I mean, but I have people right now. They're like, "What? The rates went up an eighth? I'm going to wait."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what?
Well, I mean, you shouldn't have waited to
They're-
begin with because you thought it was going to go
Exactly.
lower. Like,
They're going to go up
Exactly.
another eighth next week. We
yeah.
didn't do it this
like,
week.
why are you waiting now?
Yeah, but so rates went up a little bit and they're back down. So we're
Nice.
still holding at 2.75.
That's awesome. That's still a great rate. People
Yeah.
need to stop complaining. They need to just get refinanced before it goes up more.
Refinance or buy,
Or
right?
buy. Yeah. Please
Yeah.
buy. Please buy.
So
Purchase.
one last question for you, Carol Baskin.
Oh.
Did you kill your husband?
She's a savage.
Did you feed him to the tigers?
Did I? Oh my God, I saw that on. No, I didn't. I wish I would have.
I haven't watched the movie yet, so what did you say?
Oh.
Are we still talking about
No, we're
Carol Baskin's husband?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, thank you so much for thanks so much for watching Real Estate Exposed. Don't forget you can find us on facebook.com/realestatex, on YouTube, as well as anywhere podcasts are offered. And that's it.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
What she said.
Share our spooktacular episode.
Yeah.
What are we calling it? Because we're winging out today.
We're
Wigging out.